Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 12th of October 2022, and it's unravelling now, isn't it? Everything to do with the narrative surrounding a certain treatment really seems to be unravelling, and in the last 12 to 15 hours or so, I've seen no less than 3 extraordinary videos, all from either current or very recently retired politicians speaking out against what's been going on over the last couple of years. And the most famous one, which you've probably seen, or if not, you'll see it in very short order. There's a guy called, just get these names right, Robert Roos, who's a Netherlands MEP, and he's part of the EU's Lurgy committee looking into whether everything that's been going on over the last 2 or 3 years has been justified or not. And he was interviewing apparently a director from the treatment company that starts with PF, someone called J. Small, and he asked her if the company knew before they rolled out their treatment whether it would stop transmission of a certain thing, and she said no, we didn't know. So that really is explosive, isn't it? Because it means this whole thing that you have to take the treatment to not only protect yourself but to protect others and protect society, and that's where they got their justifications from for all of the mandates, all of the discrimination, all of the sackings that happened with people like care staff, etc., and so many others. And the sort of proposed passports, green passports, all of that were just completely and utterly fraudulent, is the only way I would describe it, and completely unjustified. And it really does explode the whole thing now, doesn't it? Anyone, anywhere who's still saying or still discriminating against people who have not had the treatment, there's no justification for it at all. And if you're in that position, I should think you've got a very good case for suing anyone who is still discriminating against you wherever you are in the world. So that was quite extraordinary, and I'll put a video on. There's a video that Mark Dolan did with Laura Dodsworth where they were talking about this and basically how everything is unravelling, and the day of reckoning for all of these people who push this nonsense is rapidly coming, or even upon them already. So that was an extraordinary one. The next extraordinary video that I saw featured a guy called Jean Lassalle, who until very recently was a French MP, and he was very recently retired, probably because of what happened to him. But he was a member of the French National Assembly from 2002 until 2022, this year. And he took the treatment in good faith, thinking that he was doing his civic duty. This is what he was saying in the video that I saw. And he has suffered, sort of problems with the organ in here. And I should think, I'm not sure that if that's why he retired from being an assembly representative, but I'd sort of bet that it probably was. And he was talking about in this interview his problems with medical problems, but he also alleged that many senior French politicians, all the way up to and including Macron, haven't actually had the treatment that they were so desperate that, to get everybody else to take. So desperate, in fact, that they were one of the most draconian countries in the world, sort of discriminating against people who chose not to have the thing, left, right and centre. They weren't allowed into bars, restaurants, shops in France, were they? So if it transpires that these people themselves were unveed, well, that is going to be explosive, and I think they should be tested. Whether there's an accurate test to tell if you have been V'd or not, I don't know. There probably is. If not, maybe one could be developed, and then these people should be tested. The likes of Macron and Trudeau and Johnson and Truss and Ardern and all of the rest of them, they should be tested to see if they've had it, because if that was done, a test was available and people were calling out for them to have a test to see if they've had the thing or not, they'd be checkmated, wouldn't they? Because they'd only have three choices. Either they'd have to quickly take the thing, and then they'd sort of test that they have had it, which, if they haven't had it now, probably for the same reasons that we haven't had it, they'd be very reluctant, of course, to do that. Their second option would be just to come clean and say they haven't had it. And the third option would be to not have it, which in my eyes would be the same as them admitting they haven't had it, basically. So whatever way you sort of look at it, they would be checkmated and their careers would be over. So that might be a good idea, to call upon these jokers to be sort of tested to see if they've had the thing or not. So, but anyway, that was a very interesting interview with this Jean Lassalle. I thought that was highly revealing. And then the third video that I saw, and I'll see if I can leave a link to it in the description box below here. So hopefully that'll be on there for you. But it featured Alberta's new premier, a lady called Danielle Smith. Obviously this is Canada, the province of Alberta, and she did this extraordinary speech saying that how the unveed, the untreated, have been faced with the most extraordinary discrimination, and how it's intolerable and how it should never happen again. So there's someone there, a senior politician in Canada, who is now speaking out against the discrimination, and she has actually said she's going to be sacking the chief health officer in Alberta, who is a lady very keen on the discrimination. So it looks like she's going to be out in very short order as well. So it looks like some sense, some sanity is beginning to return. I've also seen things like the likes of Piers Morgan totally kind of going back on what they were saying a year ago. He was a disgusting character, wasn't he? Piers Morgan, this is, who was saying how terrible the untreated were, basically, and he's now backpedaling. And I think we're going to see a lot of this, don't you? We're going to see a lot of backpedaling, a lot of denial, and a lot of these people trying to get themselves off the hook as the whole treatment narrative collapses. So 3 great videos that I saw there, very, very heartening, and it just shows, I think, the whole thing is unraveling, the whole thing is collapsing, and it's been a long time coming, but I think we're getting there. And it's in no small part thanks to the pushback that the likes of you have been giving, you know, staying strong, refusing what they were so desperate to administer, especially, well, I say this time last year, really up until very recently, and even in some places ongoing now. So, but we resisted it, and we spoke out against it, we protested against it, and we are getting there. So we can't let these people off the hook though, we can't forget, and we just need to keep pushing until the whole sorry mess comes to a full and total stop. Anyway, gonna leave it there. I'll let you go and see the videos that I've talked about. I don't think I'll better get the one with the French politician on here, but I'll get the GB News, which talks about the sort of Dutch one. I think there's two GB News ones actually, one with Laura Dodsworth and one actually where Mark Steyn, I think it is interviewing sort of Robert Roos, the Dutch MEP. So I'll put those on, and I'll also put a video with the Albertan Premier on as well. So let you go and watch those, and I'll be back tomorrow. Tim from Fair Play now. Thanks for watching.